We start with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So, what's going on here?
I've no idea what it is, but Barry Gibb has let himself go a bit, hasn't he?
I just went in the Portaloo and there was a shit this big.
Is he saying, everyone really likes me? I've just seen Barry Gibb and he speaks very highly.
Come on, we've all done it. We've all taken a pill when we should have taken a half.
More likely, he's probably going, please, please help me. I cannot find my tent.
Is he saying, as you can see, I don't trust the press by the state of my shirt?
I reckon he's going, come on, Teresa, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. I'll show you something strong and stable.
Whoa,
I didn't mean...
hang on,
no,
yeah.
Corbyn furious at narrowly losing seat to drum kit. There's a drum kit behind him. If you're not going to look at the pictures properly, I can't help you, all right?
And there should be a drummer behind that drum kit.
Yeah.
But they had to go because of Tory cuts.
Yeah. So that's just a symbol of Tory cuts.
By the way, that only worked because I set up the drum kit.
Can anyone tell you what actually it is?
It's Jeremy Corbyn speaking at the Glastonbury Festival.
Indeed it is, Ed Byrne. Thank you very much. Yes, this is a picture of Jeremy Corbyn at the Glastonbury Festival. The Labour leader was in Somerset to deliver speeches to tens of thousands of revellers at the event. How did he get on? He was one of the hits of the festival.
Absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that. He didn't do an encore. No. I'm just saying, in 2012, when I did the cabaret tent... Not saying I'm a better person than Jeremy Corbyn, I'm just saying...
It was a crowd of about 60,000 people, wasn't it? Diane Abbott said 20. not 20,000, just literally 20.
I'm sad they didn't go full Glastonbury and do the, you know, the thing where they put glitter in their beards at festivals. Have you seen that? Like, grown men walk around festivals with their beards full of glitter. They do. My boyfriend wanted to get it done. He's got a beard. I said, don't you dare. I said, you go down on me once. I've got a vajazzle I never asked.
I always have glitter in my beard, but that's only so that people can differentiate me from Romesh. Really delighted to be on the show with him because it can finally dispel the rumours that seem to be going around from people who come up to me in the street that I am Romesh.
Also, Nish, you're sitting in my seat, so you better have some pretty weird stuff. Because I'm stuck here with the travel presenters.
Yeah, going on your holidays on the BBC.
Nish, there's worse people than Romesh to get. Since I've been doing this show, I have had Janet Street Porter, I've had the bird from The Chase, and Olive from On the Buses.
I've had all of them as well.
Quite the swordsman.
I was looking at a reaction of the crowd to Jeremy Corbyn, and I thought, you bunch of sheep, and then I realised I was looking at the wrong field.
It was. I mean, there's a lot of Labour people there. Tom Watson always goes. Tom Watson appeared.
Tom
Actually,
Watson
definitely.
looked like a chimney sweep.
I've seen him. Yeah.
Somewhere there is a steam train without its driver.
He looks like he's just discovered the Giacomo website and ordered everything.
They just rolled him through Giacomo and whatever stuff.
And John McDonnell, he did a speech, didn't he, on one of the smaller stages as well. Don't you hate that when you go to Glastonbury and your politicians clash?
He said in his speech, if Theresa May is watching Glastonbury this afternoon, we are ready for another election. Can you imagine Theresa May watching Glastonbury? She hasn't got time. She's Googling, how can I be more human? She did it with Alexa, but alarmingly, Alexa replied in exactly the same voice that she used. And it freaked her out.
Maybe she went to the Platitude Festival.
Yeah.
A bit of politics from you, wasn't it? You changed your chair and the whole philosophy.
This is the new me. Come on.
This photo looks like the two finalists in the Gnome Tribute Act.
Evis has been, he's been mouthing off, hasn't he, about what Corbyn said to him in private. I think that's a bit...
It's possibly a bit rude, yeah. What did he say in private?
Well, Evis has come out and said that Jeremy Corbyn has said that he is going to scrap Trident. Like, we're supposed to be surprised by that. We all know that he's been a member of CND all his... And I think, basically, he does think they should scrap Trident. I think they should scrap Trident. I think we just don't tell anyone we have, right? That's what we do, isn't it? Scrap Trident. Sod it, tell them we've built a Death Star. Doesn't matter.
A secret Death Star.
I'm with Corbyn. We don't need Trident as a nuclear deterrent. We've got the best nuclear deterrent there is, and that is we owe all the other countries shitloads of money. They're not going to nuke us. It'd be like Wonga.com nuking a council estate.
But it's not that amazing what he said. What did he say? I'm going to be the Prime Minister in 6 months and I'm going to scrap Trident. I mean, people at Glastonbury, they're off their tits. Half the people were saying that. Do you know what I mean? Like, just... I tell you what, I'm going to scrap Trident, bruv. Yeah. Trust me on that, man. I'm going to scrap the shit out of Trident. Honestly, Trident ain't going to know what's hit it, man.
You can be the Prime Minister out there, but who's the Prime Minister in here?
No, because think about it, like the Prime Minister, that's a minister that can only be divided by one. And you can't be divided by yourself if you really know yourself.
Do you know what I mean? Man, I'll tell you something. No, listen. There's only one Trident I care about, man, and that is a Trident of self-esteem. That's what
So we've all been there.
I'm off my tits. I'll tell you what, I'm coming up right now.
Piers Morgan tweeted saying, "Oh, I'd like to see Jeremy Corbyn address the crowd at Royal Ascot," and he's absolutely right. There was nothing in there for horses. He said nothing.
Royal Ascot is just people fighting. That's all Royal Ascot was. This thing is people throwing punches, having scraps. Like, I mean,
Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
Right, this is how bad my expectations of Tommy Robinson are, right? So I read that he got into a massive fight, beat this guy to the ground at Ascot, right? And then they showed the footage, and he was fighting a white guy, and I genuinely thought, oh, well, he's making progress. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that it was a white man that was beating the shit out of him.
Well done.
It's such a pleasure to be talking about Tommy Robinson on what is undoubtedly his least favourite episode of Mock the Week ever. Two of them! Two of them! I told you this will happen!
They're winning! I tell you, they're winning!
You can't both win, you're on different teams.
No, we're on the same team, mark my word. Don't get it twisted, white woman.
Ed, remember when we were the exotic ones?
Oh, those are the days when we were the ethnic minority.
Not anymore.
Is it just me, or does Ed Sheeran sound like a rural hairdresser's?
Always bringing it back to the music, Milton. People complaining about the music. That's all people. That seems to be the Glastonbury tradition.
People do get very angry. People get very angry any time there's a sort of rap act anywhere high up the bill. People get very upset. But I was delighted to see Stormzy there because he is from Croydon, as am I. And Croydon is nailing it right now. We got Stormzy, we got Kate Moss, and we got the #2 British Asian stand-up comedian in the country. I know my place. Even my mother recently described me as a poor man's Romesh. So I know where I'm...
Listen, mate, if you dream of being a poor man's Romesh, you better wake up and apologise.
OK.
This is what they want, us to fight amongst ourselves.
Stick together, brother!
Anybody now going to break out into some sort of dance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With respect, that is, you have a stupid ethnic dance. OK.
I had to go to the doctors recently, right? I've got restless leg syndrome, and I had a sleep study, and they filmed me sleeping at night, and a consultant wrote me a letter that said that watching me sleep was like watching horizontal river dance.
Horizontal river dance sounds alarmingly sexual.
That was my chat-up line in the 90s. Would you like to do some horizontal river dance?
Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it?
The Lord of the Horizontal Delta.
At the end of that round, the points go to Nish, you and Angela. Now, we play a round called I'm Corbyn Up, so you better get this Labour Party started. This game involves Angela and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject, OK? Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is kids.
Oh, yeah, love that. Now, I don't have any kids myself. People think that when you say you don't want kids, it's because you hate kids, and I don't hate kids. I just don't trust me to keep one alive. Different thing. Because I've never had the broody urge. I do understand biological urges. It's just that mine have mostly been for carbs. Yeah. And babies are famously protein-based. Yeah. And you get to my age, and it's weird, people are obsessed about whether or not you're going to have children. I went to see my doctor recently about something completely unrelated, and he said to me, you do know, Angela, don't you? You do know, if you were to have a child now, you'd be what we call a geriatric mother. He's dead now. So... He said, why don't you get some eggs frozen? He said, why don't you freeze some eggs, and if you change your mind further down the line, they're there, you know. And I thought about it, I really thought about it, and then I thought, do you know what? Whenever I've frozen something, it's gone a bit shit. I was like, do I want my children to be the human equivalent of a ready meal? What about when little Findus and Sarah Lee go off to school? And they're getting taught about the birds and the bees. They're going to get taken into a separate room and get told your mum went to Iceland. No. There are loads of reasons for not having kids, right? Here's one. Now, ladies in the room, you can vouch for this. As a woman, you get your bits looked at all the time. Now, every time a nurse or a gynaecologist has had a look at my bits, they have told me, and I quote, that I have a lovely cervix. Thank you, I grew it myself. Yeah, now, I don't know what that means, but I do know that in my life, I have been told my cervix is lovely way more than I've been told my face is. Way more. I am bugging if I'm going to ruin the most complimented part of my body by shoving a baby through it. Right? I am literally beautiful on the inside. And that's how I want it to stay.
Well done, Angela Byrne. OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is relatives.
My grandfather, he would never, ever throw anything away, but he died in the war holding on to a hand grenade. My other grandfather, he's got a metal plaque on his forehead dedicated to a park bench that died. My other grandfather, he did a walk across Great Britain for everyone without a sense of direction. He went from Land's End straight into the sea. My sister, she was told to stop eating wheat, but she ignored that advice and was run over by the combine harvester. My other sister and her friends, I took them round a poultry farm recently, not the hen night she was expecting. Tricky, isn't it, if you've got to text someone that one of their relatives has died and your name is Lol. May he rest in peace. Lol. My other grandfather, he's doing a walk across Great Britain for all those who have got a sense of direction. Well, he was until the calf injury. Not old enough to take his weight, according to the RSPCA.
Thank you very much. Back in the band, points to Angela Byrne. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Romesh, which category would you like?
Politics, please, Dara.
OK, cool. You've chosen politics. The answer is 3 million. What is the question?
How many Asians will Britain First report were on this episode of Mock the Week?
Is it how many grandfathers have I actually got?
Is it the number of British pounds you can now get for €10?
Is it the number of people who watch Love Island and this should therefore be cold?
Is it, after Brexit, what apparently will be the annual salary of the average British fruit picker?
Is it what factor sun cream did Ed Sheeran wear at Glastonbury?
Is it how many wasps could overcome the population of Basingstoke?
I'd like to think they'd put up a good fight, though, you know?
Yeah. Stalking?
Not so much.
Is it how many fake Grindr accounts have been set up in the name Tim Farron?
Is it what is now the salary of the DUP's cleaner?
Is it the number of my children's fidget spinners that I've deliberately broken?
You know the correct answer is?
Is it how many wasps could overcome the population of Guildford?
Just going around.
It's just the N3 corridor.
Yeah. Slowly. Yeah.
That's next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the actual correct answer is how many EU citizens are currently living in the UK.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for was approximately how many EU citizens are living in the UK. This is the news that Theresa May made what she called a fair and serious offer to EU leaders to protect the rights of EU citizens in the UK after Brexit. But how did the European leaders react?
They loved it.
Yeah, they did. As they're loving everything about Brexit, that should be all. We all have to get on side, so Brexit's great. We have every week. Yay!
Dara, I don't want any more of this sarcasm from you.
It's not
There's been
sarcasm.
so much sarcasm. I watched Andrea Leadsom on Newsnight, and she told us that broadcasters have to be more positive about Brexit. So we got to start doing more positive Brexit, like, why did the chicken cross the road? To escape bureaucrats. An Englishman, a Frenchman and a German went into a pub. The Englishman left early without paying his bill and with no sense of how he was going to get home. He is a legend.
Theresa May told them all about this offer to EU citizens at a dinner, and then she wasn't allowed to stay for the discussion after the dinner because she's not part of the... She's no longer part of it, right?
Yeah.
And you just know it's terrible because you know that they'll all have gone, bye, Theresa, it's lovely to see you. Yeah, bye-bye, bye. Loser.
She described it, didn't she, as being constructive, right? No one has ever described anything as constructive unless it's gone really badly. Like, no one's ever gone, how was the wedding? Constructive.
In other news, what can now be taken in larger quantities on some flights from Italy?
Cocaine.
No.
Uh-oh.
It's pesto.
It is pesto, yeah. How much can you bring on, do you know?
500 mil, isn't it?
500 grams.
500 grams, yeah.
Yeah, or 2 jars of 250.
If you measure it in grams, then it isn't a liquid.
So I wasn't doing the maths there. That's the actual rule. I wasn't going, oh, by the way, you can divide 500 by 2.
So it's normally 100 mil, isn't it, you can take through? But why have they done that, then?
They've done that because they sell pesto. And
It has to be proper Genoese pesto, though.
Genoese.
It's just through one airport, it's not through the whole of it?
It's just through the airport in the pesto really producing area of Italy.
Genoa.
Yeah, it's to encourage... Presumably, it's because every tourist comes to Genoa Airport and goes, oh, I bought some pesto. And they just go, I'm sorry, 100 minutes later. And you're left there with a choice of, well, screw you.
Darling, go and get me some penne.
I don't care if I just dry.
You can't just allow it because loads of it's coming through.
Well, they have decided that they're allowing it.
Because we're getting so much cocaine coming through this airport, let's just allow it. Do you know what I mean? It's such an admin nightmare.
This cocaine thing, right?
There's
just
always
go,
people standing at the gate just being like...
Cocaine and pesto.
Wait, give me some pesto and give me the cocaine and just smash it in my mouth.
Darling, get me some penne.
Presumably you could do it for anything else, though. Presumably, like...
Can we do it for salad cream?
I think more, you know, it's going to be Branston pickle. I don't know what are the authentic...
Branston pickle's not a liquid, is it?
Well, it depends.
It's as much of a liquid as pesto.
Pesto's
Dara,
more
you're the science
As
guy.
a scientist.
Branston pickle, liquid, solid, or gas?
I honestly... do you know, I wouldn't know Branston pickle if you put it past me on a conveyor, but I wouldn't know...
Even if it said Branston...
I would probably pick up on a clue like that.
Yeah. That would be the shittest episode of the Generation Game. Jared Branson pickle. Oh,
come on.
Must remember that one.
You know, last week we talked about Freddos and we got Freddos. I hope a runner's gone out to get some Branston pickle for me
Oh,
now.
God, I am not eating pesto with my finger.
Pesto.
Moving on, what might car horns sound like in the future?
I like this story. Because I only passed my driving test a year ago. I'm a fairly new driver. And so the story is that they want to change... They think that horns are too aggressive, right? So they want to change it to sound like a duck. And I do agree that horns are too aggressive, because there are times when you don't want to say, oi, you just want to go, sorry, my bad. You know, and I want one that sort of goes, sorry. You know, one...
It should be like a dual flush.
Yeah.
So you want to have, like, a kind of a language where it goes... and he goes...
Close encounters of the...
There's some car horns, like, in India, where my family is from, but I'm not, please don't deport me, some of the horns play like a full Bollywood song. So it's like, it's really hard to get a message across, because it'll be like... You're like,
Unhorn. You can't unhorn. If I've learned anything in life, you can't unhorn.
I'll tell you what, once I've started that horizontal river dance, I cannot unhorn. I can't unhorn, I can't unhorn.
I saw an unbelievable piece of road rage where a taxi was sort of going out in front of a guy, and I can't remember whose fault it was, but the taxi just went in front of this guy who was trying to cross the road, and he just instinctively smacked the window with his hand, like he was just really angry. He went, that. And the taxi driver got out and just went, oi, if you ever bang my cab again, I'll bang you.
Bang you so hard, and I can't unhorn. At the end of that round, the points go to Milton and Romesh. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on a history documentary.
Here we are at Warwick Castle, home of one of the biggest scandals in British history. £4 for a pencil sharpener.
It was a wooden horse. The soldiers of Troy had been deceived. They would never bet on the Grand National again.
So it turns out that Henry VIII is actually some kind of medieval Hoover.
Here's an easy way to remember Henry VIII's wives. Divorced, beheaded, munter, fit, MILF.
Henry VIII divorced her, dried her, and kept her in a tiny jar. It was a fitting end for Catherine of Tarragon.
And if you want to see what this place looked like 200 years ago, then you probably voted leave.
The story of his marriage is simple. Julius Caesar, Julius marries her, Julius dumps her.
In 2068, the UK was allowed to rejoin the EU on condition that it changed its name to Very Sorry Land.
And as we unearth this skeleton, what becomes clear and what we have learned is that I should have found a deeper hole to bury my wife.
Martin Luther King had a dream about being naked and riding a camel made of ice cream, but we don't hear much about that dream, do we?
What was life like for a typical Roman soldier around 200 BC? No fucking idea.
How are your parents? Shouted Cromwell across the battlefield. And the king replied, they're very well, thank you. Isn't the weather nice for this time of year? It was civil war.
Oi, oi, you slags! History, history, history! My name's Danny Dyer, and this is Britain's oldest bricks.
They called him Edward the Confessor, but he was not as popular as his brother Steve the What Goes on Tour Stays on Tour.
They ravaged the land, taking over vast areas with the catchphrase, if anyone can, Genghis Khan.
As they ceased to exist over 200 years ago, it was impossible to know what Southern Rail was until yesterday when one of their trains finally arrived.
OK, the next topic is unlikely film trailers.
From acclaimed director Ridley Scott, Alien 7. It's just fucking ruined now.
Nigel Farage buys a guest house in Spain. How will the locals react? Find out in Casablanca.
Katie Hopkins meets up with 7 of her friends in The Hateful Eight.
God, I wish you'd become a lawyer. Nish Kumar stars in The Mummy.
He was a man. She was a woman. To cut a long story short, the end.
Vin Diesel stars as a man angry about premature ejaculation in Fast and Furious.
A woman with a past, a cop with a secret, a plumber with a shoe, a dog with a cold, a hairdresser with a Rubik's Cube. Coming this summer, random things with stuff.
Theresa May's up to her old tricks again in The Matrix.
Thor, Iron Man and the Hulk visit IKEA in Avengers Assemble.
Russell Crowe stars as a man who devours his wife and is then really pleased with himself in Gladiator.
This is the story of the last man in Nazi Europe with a foolscap folder. Saving Private Ryman.
A documentary about the losing of the Tory majority. Gone in 60 seconds.
A woman calls an election and then disappears from her own campaign in Wonder Where the Fuck She Went, Woman.
This summer, the ultimate battle for supremacy in Kramer versus Alien versus Predator versus Batman versus Superman versus Kramer.
Why didn't you become a doctor? Nish Kumar in Daddy's Home.
The Boy Who Cries Wolf 3. Honestly, this one is a real film.
Oi, hands off the chocolate. Hands off the chocolate. Keep your hands off the chocolate. We are the guardians of the galaxy.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Milton and Romesh. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Milton Jones, Ed Byrne and Romesh Ranganathan. Commiserations to Nish Kumar, Hugh Dennis and Angela Byrne. Thank you for watching. I'm Darrell Breen. Good night.
Frankie Boyle gets topical tomorrow night on BBC Two. Sarah Pascoe and Catherine Ryan join his New World Order at 10. Newsnight coming next. On BBC 4 in half an hour, ringside seats for boxing at the movies with Kings of the Ring.